This is a Holiday Inn. I booked a room for a few nights, and I'm really surprised by how shabby this Holiday Inn, right? It's supposed to be. Look at this. You can see the dirt, right? Can you see this? It's all kinds of markings in here, and the same here. Like this reminds me, Travelodge. This is not Holiday Inn. Like everything is super old. See, all kinds of markings. All right, we have the toilet. We have the. All right. And what surprises me, well, at least we have a bunch of channels. TV channel guide. Okay. I put it over here. We got some free coffee. I think now more and more hotels are using this. But we got a cordless phone and 4 pillows on each bed. So I'm gonna sleep here night 1, then night 2, and then night 3. But yeah, I'm serious. This is like Travelodge, you know. When is the last time they changed wallpaper in this place? But the worst part is this. I came in and it was warm because this thing was turned all the way in here, you know, to hot air. And then there's a curious sign in here. You can read, right? It says adjust thermostat on right to desired temperature. And then it shows you this picture. That's your fan, 1, 2, 3, right? But there's nothing like that here. So here you have a temperature. I mean, cold or hot. No, this is temperature, and this is. But you see, everything is falling apart. Like there's no knob in here. And I guess that's where the thermostat used to be. Unbelievable. Well, at least I got my own private balcony. If I can open it, I think you need a key in here. So basically it's locked. So this is Kitchener, Ontario. Oh, see, everything is bent, broken. Holiday Inn, my ass. Look at this. Wow. We're gonna put this on. I'm gonna put this on Google Maps. You know, where I do a review because I'm like a local guide. But some people are saying, why are you always complaining, right? Well, it's not complaining when it's true. When people charge you, what was it, $125 Canadian per night, you know, that's not exactly $10. So it's not exactly like it's a motel. So anyway, yeah, today's Friday. So today was an interesting day because I woke up at 6 in Dansville, New York, and I drove across the street and got fuel at that small station. I think I got like 80 gallons, so I saved 20 cents US per gallon, so $16 compared to fueling up at TA. And then, since the broker, the freight broker, still did not respond to my please, right? I was saying, please find a way to wash this machine. So I was making a plea. So this guy says, okay, and then nothing happens. You know, like these people, they kind of like stay away thinking that the issue will resolve itself, right? And now this excavator was actually much more dirty than the other one where I was using. Remember, I was using these jugs, right? this is like really because it went on dirt, you know. Like I know the officer will see it at the border. And so after I fueled up in my truck without the trailer, I drove to the supermarket, just like a couple of blocks, what is it, east? No, south. A couple of blocks south of that gas station. And I bought 6 jugs of water, 1 gallon, and then I bought 3 bigger ones at 2 gallons each, you know. So I bought 6 gallons plus 12 gallons of water, and that was hardly enough. But you know, I smartly, I looked at my priorities, and my priorities were to make the left side of the machine cleaner than the right side of the machine. And so I spent 6 gallons on the left side, or 7, and then the rest on the other side. And so just removing, you know, dirt from tracks. And I took a picture of these jugs with water, and I said, okay, Tyler, you win. So I'm gonna take care of it myself. So please revise the load confirmation and add $100. And I said, if you do this stuff again to me, I said, I swear to God, I'm gonna add to my quote, I'm gonna add $1,000 penalty. Okay? Because it's just, these people, they don't, you know, understand the importance of this. It's like each time I have to deal with this, you know. Because yeah, when it was at the port, it was clean, right? Because the port has pavement. But when they move it like that, and they don't think, you know, they don't think that, wait a second, how will this go across the border? Oh, the driver will figure something out. And so what made me angry is that when I send that picture to this idiot, he responds, ha ha, send me a receipt, that should not be that much, basically, that shouldn't be a problem. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I spent $20 on the stupid water, but then somebody was cleaning the tracks, right? The tracks would not clean themselves. So I spent half an hour rubbing dirt with my hands and with a brush, and I was all wet, all my pants, even though I took off my sneakers. You know what happens when you pour water on metal surface? It starts reflecting all over the place, right? And I just didn't respond to this guy. And then when I delivered the load, they just said, okay, here's your POD, proof of delivery. We'll factor this as usual with my factoring company. Please do not call me again. We'll deal with, and I put down the name of the other broker in the same company that I usually work with. Like with that one, I don't have a problem. That one understands, you know. Like this guy, ha ha ha, send me a bill. Anyway, so it's a matter of principle, you know. So I didn't ask him for any money after that, you know, because what? I'm gonna get $20 for water. But anyway, so yeah, I went. You know, everything was cool at the border. They let me go right away. And then I just drove from Fort Erie, Ontario, and I'm telling you, I really enjoy every opportunity I get to use the toll 407 freeway. It saves so much time and so much saves you know, so many nerves. So I just jumped on 407 in Hamilton, and I drove 50 kilometers, 30 miles, 35 miles, to pretty much Brampton, where I was delivering, you know. And I came there, and the yard was pretty small. I went in to inquire where they want me to break the trailer, and the guy showed me where usually guys go. Basically, you have to go like this and then back out of there. But everything was cool, so no problems with the receiver. What's funny is that the guy says, let me check something. And he climbs on top of the machine and he starts looking. I said, what are you looking at? What are you looking for? And he says, well, a couple of previous guys, they brought us, one was a wheel loader, one was an excavator, and they scratched the roof. I said, that is very unlikely in my case, because I pointed out to him the design of my trailer. I said, mine is called a drop side rail trailer. You see the sides are much lower than the center, and I said, even with a series 3 or 4 excavators, I'm always legal height, 13.6. So I said, the bridges like me, you know. But yeah, you know, that's a big problem. If you hit a bridge, that can be, you know, 10-15,000 bucks that they will charge back to you, because you're the driver. You didn't measure your height. Like I measured twice because I had to reposition the boom because it was going down. It started touching my flip axle, and I had to reposition it. And just each time I double checked. I climbed on all my fours on top of the boom, dropped the measuring tape down, and each time I was like 12, 11, 13 feet, you know, from the ground to the top, even to the top of the cables. And then also, as I was driving, I used my hands-free handset, and I made a couple of calls. So I booked an appointment with the Cal Tire to replace the tire, and maybe I'll buy a couple of aluminum rims. So the guy says Monday. Okay, Monday. Now I know that it's a long weekend over here. Monday, it's a civic holiday. I don't know if he forgot, or are they really open, because civic holiday is not an official holiday. Some places are open, right? So I'll have to double check with them Monday morning. But so I booked the tire place for Monday morning. For Tuesday morning, I booked PTO, wetline flow test at the local hydraulics shop, because I want to make sure that both cylinders work on the gooseneck. And for Wednesday, I booked an appointment at Kenworth, because I want to make sure that my transmission is okay, right? Maybe, you know, you saw that a couple of times, especially when I'm tired at the end of the day, sometimes I slam it, you know, the gear. And I said, probably happened like 4 or 5 times since I started driving this truck. I said, I shift into reverse, release the clutch, and nothing happens, right? So I said, could you please check the clutch, then maybe check the teeth in the transmission, and check maybe the splitter, because that's what the guy says. Oh, it's probably the splitter. Like, the truck is, you know, 4 months old. I don't know. But well, you know, if it's under warranty, that part, whatever's at fault, then I'm not paying. But you know, I gotta fix it. Oh, and also I decided to try their alignment guy instead of going back to a Best tire where I made it, where I did alignment last time. Because yeah, the truck starts pretty much exhibits the same symptoms I had 3 months ago when I went to Best tire. And especially when I have a heavy load on the front, it's the steering wheel turns to the right and the truck starts pulling to the right, you know. So it's basically out of alignment. And so I know Kenworth told me that they don't have their own guy, but they have somebody that they can call, somebody who comes in with his own tools. And so since it's easier to do everything at one place, and so Kenworth will take care of the clutch or splitter for the reverse gear, and then they will do alignment. And also I'll see if they have in stock those fender mirrors. You know, I want to ask them to install at least one fender mirror on my passenger side, because there's a huge blind spot in there, and a couple of times I really get scared. You know, I turn on my my signal, and then I just go like this, you know, and I see there's a top of the car right there, and I cannot see it because I sit pretty low, you know. And that's why in my Mac I had a mirror only on one side, because yeah, I don't need it on the driver side. Like over here I can see everything, but on the passenger side, especially since my truck is so tall, you know, with its 24/5 tires, I need that. And this is it. And then so alignment, PTO, reverse. Oh yeah, and I went to the bank right now because I was not sure why is it that I've been paying for a year, I still owe more than what the car was worth, you know. And I said, can I increase the payments? And when I called customer service before, and they said, yeah, but you have to go inside the branch because, you know, we don't know who you are, because I don't have an account with them. I just have a loan account, right? And they said, going into a branch, your local branch in Canada, because you have to show them your IDs, right? Your proof of identification. And so I, like a fool, I go to the branch, and I say, she says, you want to make a payment? I said, no. Like, and my loan is an open loan for this Mustang. I can prepay anytime. I can pay $1,000, $10,000. You know, I can pay off. Like, there's no penalty. It's a pretty good loan, but the interest, it's also not too bad. You know, 4.99%. Could have been lower, but it's okay. But I went with a very long term, and now I'm just thinking that I want to pay it off sooner, right? And I said, no, I just want to increase the payments. I have bi-weekly payments. I said, I want to increase by like $50, $75, you know, each bi-weekly payment. And she looks at me, I'm not sure I can do that. And she calls her supervisor, and they whisper for like 5 minutes, and then the supervisor with the Russian name Ina, I-N-A, Ina. And she speaks with a Russian accent, but I didn't switch to Russian because everybody else was speaking English, right? But usually what's funny is that if you're a Russian and you hear somebody speak English, I can usually tell with a 99.9% probability if that person is a Russian, because we all have the same accent, you know, some more than the others. But anyway, so this Ina says, no, you cannot do that. You can prepay, but you cannot change the payments themselves. You cannot increase them because I guess they don't know how to recalculate the loan. Unbelievable. It's probably like the worst bank, you know, like the worst bank in Canada, my personal opinion, is the Bank of Nova Scotia. Now this one where I have my car loan, it's the second worst. It's called CIBC. Okay, so Nova Scotia Bank number 1, worst. CIBC is number 2. I think number 3, the place would be split between either a Bank of Montreal or a Royal Bank. So anyway, it's gonna be a long weekend over here, and I was driving. When I was driving in St. Catharines, you know, near the lake, the opposite side of QEW, Queen Elizabeth Way, going towards the U.S. border, it was stop and go traffic. Even it was like what, 11 o'clock Friday, right? 11 o'clock in the morning, and there was so many cars, you know. And that's when I heard on the radio, oh, long weekend. And I'm driving, I'm thinking, wait a second, so where do all these people work? You know, like the full freeway is filled up with cars on a Friday at 11 o'clock. Like nobody works, you know. Like I understand me, but okay, I'm working, I'm behind the wheel, I'm working, right? But these guys all have boats, bikes. 11 o'clock Friday, they're already heading over to US. Unbelievable. So anyway, not sure what I will do during the weekend. I thought I would go and maybe do some photography, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I'll take care of the truck and trailer. Oh, and one more thing I want to do is I still want to reinforce those ramps on the trailer, just weld like 5mm plate. But that's another place where I have to go in Kitchen, actually, over here at Wabash Trailers. They do that. And in other news, my brother, after he sold his retail store in Moscow because there was no profit, so he went to Georgia, like Russian Georgia, not Georgia in US, but he went to Georgia for a couple of weeks vacation, and he says it was unbelievable. It's like all pretty much mountains over there, kind of like Montana or Utah, but only it's warm. It's like Montana combined, like a cross between Montana and Florida. So that's Georgia. And he just came back to Moscow, and he's sending my mom to, they found like a resort, kurort. Turns out when you're retired in Russia, they do take care of you, and there's some big discounts for, you know, for older people. Once a year they can go to kind of like a state sponsored, you know, resort right there near Moscow. And my brother says it was like $150 US. So I sent him $150. So I said, okay, just give it to her. So the resort is on me. So my mom will be going for like, I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you know, because, and there's old people of the same age over there, you know, like 75, 80 years old, right? At least she'll be among other people, you know, not sitting by herself in her apartment. So that's what's happening. So have a good weekend, boys and girls. If you're in Canada, enjoy your long weekend. Don't work too hard. Ciao.